Welcome back to the David Pakman Show. Happening now, or at least at the time of this recording, Attorney General William Barr is testifying before Congress, and we obtained a clip of Barr refusing to answer the question of whether or not the White House itself actually saw the Mueller report. Now, you can recall, everyone knows the Mueller report was a 22-month process, an investigation. And instead of releasing the report, William Barr released a 4-page summary. And Donald Trump said that this summary exonerated him completely, or rather, he said that the report exonerated him completely. But Representative Nita Lowey asked William Barr just a moment ago, did the White House see the report before you released your summarizing letter? Has the White House seen it since? Have they been briefed on the contents beyond what was your summarizing letter? And Barr refused to answer. Let's take a quick look at this clip.
Did the White House see the report before you released your summarizing letter? Has the White House seen it since then? Have they been briefed on the contents beyond what was in your summarizing letter to the Judiciary Committee?
I've said what I'm going to say about the report today. I've issued 3 letters about it, and I was willing to discuss the historic information of how the report came to me in my decision on Sunday. But I've already laid out the process that is going forward to release these reports, hopefully within a week. And I'm not going to say anything more about it until the report is out and everyone has a chance to look at it.
So Attorney General Barr is making it clear that this is a question that he cannot answer. I don't, we can parse it however you want to parse it, but he refuses to answer this. And this is important because this cuts to what we discussed in a previous segment where Donald Trump set the narrative by saying he's been fully exonerated. Media outlets picked up this narrative, spread it around as though it was absolutely the matter of fact. Also as though they've read the summary, or rather read the Mueller report themselves. Well, now it turns out, it sounds like the president of the United States himself has not read the report, or anyone in the White House. The question was a general question. Did the White House see the report? Not just did Donald Trump see the report, but did the White House see the report? And Barr was not willing to answer. Something else that we can glean from this brief exchange is the fact that it looks as though they are gearing up to release the report because of all the pressure that's being mounted against them. The attempt to keep this as private as they possibly could. It looks as though they're going to have to release the report. The question is, how much of the report will be redacted, right? How much is the White House going to redact it? So at some point, whether or not Trump has seen it yet, they're going to see it and they're going to be given the opportunity to redact as much information as they would like. Well, if Donald Trump was completely exonerated, then by all means, release the entire report. This is the frustrating part about journalism, about media, about politics in general. We need the media to do their job and to point out these inconsistencies and the glaring hypocrisy of us having to take at face value a summary versus the full report, right? Who else is going to hold political power accountable if the media is not? And while the media took the last several weeks to slam dunk on MSNBC, probably rightfully so, well, it still remains to be seen, right? To slam dunk on everyone who believed that there was anything to the Russia probe at all, they should have been pointing out the fact that we have not seen the report to concretely and to definitively say that Donald Trump has been exonerated. What they did instead was take the president's word for it and use that for a news cycle in which they lambasted anyone who believed anything about the Russia probe whatsoever. And now it turns out that it looks as though that the White House itself has not seen the full report or has not read the full report, at least according to the exchange that we just saw between Barr and Congressperson Lowy. This is just another important point in a series of important points that shows you several things, that shows you that the president of the United States absolutely does have something to hide. Whether or not it is impeachable, we see, that is a political question, right? That is a political question. In terms of whether or not it met the legal bar to indict him, we see that it did not meet the legal bar to indict him, according to Robert Mueller. But we also know that there's been indictable offenses, or rather, there's been impeachable offenses that have not met the indictment bar. So, I, for one, if you go back through my catalog of videos, my number one thing always was, hey, let's let this play out. Let's let the Mueller probe play itself out and see what information we get from it. And here we've allowed it to play out. At least I have, without, most of us have done it without jumping on the bandwagon of the hysteria, but at the same time, not dismissing it. There's an entire contingency of so-called objective journalists who have been dismissing it and have taken an active role in dismissing the entire Mueller probe as nothing more than conspiracy. And yet here we have the Attorney General of the United States of America saying, well, first of all, being a barrier to seeing the full report, and now saying that we don't even know if the White House has read the report. Where are the journalists who are going to say, hold up, wait a minute, there's something going on here that we need to get to the bottom of? I don't know. They're too busy slam dunking because, the report did not prove that Donald Trump was an actual Manchurian candidate being controlled by Russia. And because he wasn't an actual Manchurian candidate being controlled by Russia, then there's nothing to see here. Well, there's still some smoke here. And the smoke is the fact that Barr was placed into position to block this report from coming out, and did exactly what he was there to do, which was to muddy the waters enough for a news cycle long enough for us to get to the point where we move on from it. And now the rest of this is just kind of secondary conversations.